Hi, this is Kathy Quinn with Floriani. Floriani is a division of R&K Distributing, and I want to welcome you to this week's software lesson of the week. With the holidays coming, I thought I would take one of our artwork shapes and show you 3 different things you could make out of it very simply. Now, as most of you know, if you've worked with my lessons before, we all know Kathy's favorite tool is the artwork tool. So if you come up to the top toolbar, left mouse click on the down arrow and go to the words Custom Shape. We're going to scroll down and we're going to go ahead and pick the tree. Now as the tree comes in, it comes in as artwork. So right now all it is a line on the screen. So let's go ahead and start creating. Now with this artwork, I want to convert it. So if you look along the bottom, you'll see all of your category icons. I just love having this because it makes Floriani so easy to use. We're going to turn this into an applique stitch design. So with the left mouse click on my applique stitch icon, we have now created an applique stitch design here. Now you're going to remember you need to use applique stitch fabric, and that is available at all your Floriani dealers. If you're not familiar with applique stitch, please go on our website and look at it, because what applique stitch does is, if you notice, it will put down a placement line. It's just like applique in that respect. Now you're going to lay your applique stitch fabric down on top of it, and I would pick the green velvet applique stitch so your tree has beautiful texture. Now it will go ahead and tack it down, and you're not going to worry about trimming. We're just going to leave it alone, and we are going to complete the outline. Once you have completed the outline, now your applique stitch fabric will tear away from the outside, so no trimming, and it's goof-proof applique. You'll notice there's a line on the inside. That is your trapping stitch, because if it will tear away from the outside, it will tear away from the inside. But let's give our tree a little bit more decor. So let's work with our text. I'm going to come up here to my text icon. It's the large T on your upper left-hand side. I want you to left mouse click on your down arrow and go to the T. Now we are going to notice I have an A stuck to my cursor. So I'm going to left mouse click on the screen, and you're going to notice it puts in text. Well, I'm going to come up here and type in ho. I'm going to come to my font, left mouse click on the down, and I'm going to go to my all curled up font. And now I'm going to go ahead and apply. Now with applying this, you notice I've got my word. Now I don't want this in green because I'm going to use green applique stitch fabric. Excuse me. So I'm going to come down here to my color bar. Now the first thing I'm going to do is make sure I have the thread selected, and I'm going to use Floriani Poly. Now the nice thing about this is whatever your thread brand you use, you can choose from. And I also want a red, so I could type in red and then all my reds would come up. Now I'm going to select a red, and I'm going to bring this down, place it, and then you'll notice that the lettering has control points. I'm going to go to my blue circle, and I'm going to rotate this. Up in the upper left-hand corner, I have my resize proportionately, and I'm going to make this a little smaller and place it just where I like it. Now this will stitch last because we'll want it to stitch on top of our applique stitch fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to left mouse click again on screen. Again, I'm going to come up here and type in ho and apply. I'm going to go ahead and make it a little smaller by getting my resize icon, my resize control point, and I'm going to go ahead and with the blue circle rotate. Stick it here, and I'm going to do this one more time. I'm going to left mouse click on screen with my text tool active. I'm going to type in ho. I'm going to apply, Go ahead and size it, rotate it, and place it. Now my idea here is I want to make an ornament that I can hang on my tree. So I need one other thing in here. I need a place for the hanger. So I'm going to move these down just a hair, and I need to create a little eyelet right here so that when I poke a hole, I have something so I can hang it through. So we're going to come back to our artwork tool and our custom shapes, and I'm going to select the circle. I'm going to go ahead with that selected. Well, I didn't select it very good, did I? There we go. You notice there is a circle stuck to my cursor. That's how I know it's selected. And I'm just going to draw me a circle. Come over to your properties box to transform. And I want this to be 1/4 of an inch around. It's plenty of room. Now again, this is only artwork, so I'm going to apply. So now if you notice, if you look in our sequence view over here at the bottom right hand side, you'll notice it tells me it's artwork. Well again, I'm going to come down to my wonderful categories down here, and I want this to be a nice little satin stitch, a steel stitch. So I'm going to left mouse click on my steel, and you can see it has created that. Now this is too wide. So come up into your properties, and this is something I am so excited about in our Floriani Total Control U, is that once I select a category down here, anything I could possibly do to that specific stitch comes up in my properties view. So I don't really even have to know what I could do, because the minute I click on it, it's going to show me everything I can do. Because sometimes we don't even know the questions to ask. So what I need to do is, that's a little bit thick in width, so I'm going to change it to 1.5 and apply. Now with that done, I'm going to come up here and put it at the top. So this is where I'm going to create my hanger. Now what I would do with this is I would hoop Floriani Perfect Stick in the hoop. I would take a piece of Floriani Stitch and Shape, stick that down to the hoop, and I'm going to stitch this directly onto the Stitch and Shape. It'll put my placement line. I'll lay my applique stitch fabric down. It'll do my tack down finish, ho ho ho, and put my eyelet. Now I will take that out of the hoop. I will plug in my heat cutting tool, my Floriani heat cutting tool, lay your Stitch and Shape on top of a tile, and draw around it. The Stitch and Shape will burn out. Then I'll take my heat cutting tool and poke a little hole in the middle of that eyelet so I have a hanger. So I've now created a Christmas ornament that has body, will hang on the tree. I can wash it, press it. How wonderful is that? Now think about teacher gifts. How nice would it be on here to put the year and Merry Christmas to give to a teacher? We're always looking for teacher gifts. This little ornament, Baby's First Christmas. Put your child's name, your grandchild's name in the year. So many things you can do with this. So this is the first generation of our lesson today. So let's go ahead and move on. What if I would like to make some holiday napkin rings? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select that little steel stitch, and I'm going to right mouse click on it, and I'm going to delete it, because I don't need that for my napkin ring. Now the next thing I'm going to do in my sequence view, select your tree. Come down along our categories here, and let's make this a fill. Now I obviously don't want a blue tree, so let's touch our thread color search. Let's type in the word green, so it'll bring up my greens. Now if I knew the color number, like I wanted 232 green, I could have typed in the number of the color, and it would have brought that color up. But I'm just going to go to green in general here. Go through and pick me a pretty green that I like. Now notice I can move by one, or I can move by a color wave by doing the double arrows. So I'm going to go ahead and pick a green here. Let's 3D this. Come over to your left-hand toolbar, click on the 3D cube so I can see dimension. Now I want to change this fill. Now notice I clicked on the fill icon, which was my standard fill star, but over here everything came up that I can do. I want this to look like a tree. So I'm going to left mouse click on the down arrow on the pattern. I'm going to go to zigzag. Remember, you must apply. So I have a zigzag fill, but it's going the wrong way for my tree. So I'm going to come over to my left-hand toolbar, my second tool, which is my shape tool, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change my angle. This gives me all my control points. Now your angle line is the one with the black circles. So I want to change the angle of those stitches. So now that I've told it the angle I want, I'm going to hit enter, and notice now the angle goes up and down and I look like a tree. Now I'm going to make a napkin ring out of this, but it looks like it's kind of missing something. Well, it needs a little star on the top. So before I put a star on it, what I'm going to do is come to my sequence view and select all items. I've selected everything on screen. Now this is 5 inches tall. That's a little tall for a napkin ring. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring this down just a bit smaller. Okay, that's 4 inches. Let's go ahead and make it just a little smaller. Okay, a little under 4 inches is fine for a napkin ring. Now I want to go ahead and add a star to the top. So again, I'm going to rely on my artwork tools. Let's left mouse click, go to your custom shape, scroll down. I'm going to grab the star. Now it's come in as artwork. Let's go ahead and make it small enough to go on the top of our tree. I'm going to grab it and I'm going to sit it right here on top of my tree. Now what I'm going to do is I need to, of course, change it to a fill. So let's go ahead and use a standard fill again. And the color I want to put a gold metallic star. If you have not used Floriani metallic threads, you will love them. They don't kink or twist. They're wonderful. They are a polyester core wrapped with a metallic and sealed in mylar. So they stitch beautifully through your machine. Now let's come over here again to decide our thread chart. So I'm going to say I want the Floriani metallic thread chart. I'm going to left mouse click on the gold, and now I've got my beautiful napkin ring. Now how I'm going to stitch this out is I am going to hoop my no-show mesh, and I'm going to look at the stitch count, and I have 10,057 stitches. I'm going to go ahead and use 2 pieces of mesh, and I'm going to put them in the hoop at a 45-degree angle. I am going to stitch this tree directly onto the mesh. I'm going to go to my heat cutting tool again with my tile, and as fast as I draw around this, I am going to burn this out. So it's like a freestanding design. Then I'm going to take a regular little ponytail holder, put it on the back using my matching embroidery thread. I'll go to the machine and just zigzag it through my design onto the back of my Christmas tree, and now I have a beautiful napkin ring. Now that is the second generation. Let's do one more generation. Let's make some gift tags. Now I'm going to take this same tree. Let's select the star, right mouse click on it, and let's delete the star. Now I'm going to select the tree, and I'm going to come and make this a run stitch. So again, let's go down here to our icons, left mouse click on the run stitch, and I'm going to come to my properties. How wonderful. Everything I can do to a run just showed up. So let's drop this box down. Let's go to our bean stitch, and I can now make it have more than 3 repeats. Well, I'm going to stitch this on cardstock because I'm going to make gift tags to put on my presents with our names on them. So I'm going to drop this down and I'm going to say, let's do 7 repeats because that'll pretty much perforate out cardstock. And I'm going to apply. Now I have 7 repeats. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my middle set of lettering. We've got our 3 sets of lettering here, and if you look in there, I'm going to delete it. I'm going to select it. I turned it off, I think. What did I do to this lettering? Well, let's right mouse click on it and let's delete. I want to make sure it's gone. Now on the top one, I'm going to come back into my text box and I'm going to type in the word to. Now from all curled up, I'm going to come down and I'm going to select my flatliner alphabet and apply. Go ahead and move it, resize it, make it where it looks attractive to you. And once you've done 2, I want you to select your next one and I want you to type in from. Again, you want your flatliner alphabet. Let's scroll down to flatliner. Now the reason I have selected this alphabet is because you can't take a satin stitch alphabet on this. Since you're using cardstock, if you did, it would actually perforate out and you wouldn't be able to stitch your to and from on it. Now of course you could go ahead and stitch their names as well. You could just put, Katie love mom. So you could go ahead and put any writing on here you wanted, just use your flatliner. Now we also need a thing to tie this on, a place to tie this onto our gift. So we're going to go ahead and come up here. Again, custom shapes, our artwork tool. Get your circle again. Draw yourself another circle. Let's go to our properties to transform because we're going to change the size to 1/4 of an inch. Height and width. And make sure your maintain aspect ratio is deselected on that or it'll make you a little crazy. Apply. And now I want to turn this into, this is still artwork, remember. We're going to come down to our run stitch again. Left mouse click on it. And we're going to make this a double run. We do want it to stitch where it's holding, but we do not want to cut out our cardstock. So now there we have also created a gift tag. I hope you've enjoyed this week's software lesson of the week. I hope you have a great holiday season and enjoy your ornaments. We'll see you again next week.